Element 3.7. Permit to work systems. A permit to work serves as a meticulously structured and documented control process that meticulously considers the potential interactions between workers, their working environment, and the associated hazards. This formal procedure is an essential component of safety management, particularly when dealing with high-risk activities. High-risk tasks such as hot work, confined space entry, working at height, working on pressurized systems, and maintenance on plant and machinery demand the use of a permit to work to ensure the utmost safety and risk control. It acts as a safeguard against potential hazards by meticulously planning and authorizing these activities, mitigating risks, and safeguarding the well-being of all involved. The primary purpose of a permit to work is to provide official permission for specific work activities to commence. This authorization ensures that the work is undertaken in strict adherence to predefined safety protocols and procedures, guaranteeing that all foreseeable risks are managed effectively. By granting this permission, the permit establishes a structured and controlled environment for high-risk tasks, instilling a safety-first approach and prioritizing the health and safety of workers and the overall workplace. The key elements of a permit, often abbreviated as IRCCE, encompass a structured process for safe work authorization. It begins with the issue phase, where the permit is generated and approved. Upon issuance, it is then received by the authorized personnel responsible for the task. Clearance follows, signifying that all safety checks and conditions have been met, granting the go-ahead for work to begin. In cases where work needs to be halted, cancellation may occur, ensuring that unsafe conditions are promptly addressed. If work needs more time, an extension may be granted, allowing additional time to complete tasks safely. These elements collectively form a robust system for managing high-risk activities, promoting safety and minimizing potential hazards. Pre-job checks encompass a set of essential procedures and considerations before commencing any work. This comprehensive assessment includes understanding the precise nature of the work to be undertaken, the designated work location, and the names of all authorized workers involved in the task. Additionally, it specifies the date and time when work can commence, and outlines the permit's validity duration. It's critical to define the necessary control measures, encompassing safety precautions before, during, and after the work, to ensure the highest levels of safety. Any restrictions and their implications are also identified, as well as any related permits that might be relevant to the task at hand. These pre-job checks are a fundamental component of safety management, contributing to the successful execution of work activities in a secure and controlled manner. For a permit to work system to operate effectively, several key principles must be observed. First and foremost, only authorized individuals should have the authority to issue permits, ensuring that safety protocols are upheld. Permit issuers must possess a strong understanding of the potential hazards associated with the specific job at hand. Additionally, it is crucial to verify that all necessary precautions have been meticulously checked before permits are granted, with a strict prohibition on issuing permits from an office setting. Permits should never be amended, as any changes could compromise safety measures. Complete adherence to all permit conditions is non-negotiable, and staff members involved in the process must receive proper training to ensure competence. A robust monitoring system should be in place to oversee the permit process and maintain its effectiveness. Lastly, it's essential to allocate sufficient time to ensure that permits are issued with the utmost accuracy and care, prioritizing the safety and well-being of all involved. The image displayed on the screen is a sample permit to work document. It's important to note that each organization can create its own customized permit to work document to suit its specific needs and safety protocols. These tailored documents are designed to ensure that high-risk activities are conducted in a controlled and secure manner, with strict adherence to the organization's safety standards and requirements. This flexibility allows companies to effectively manage and authorize work procedures, while prioritizing the safety and well-being of their employees. On the next slide, we will see a short video on the importance of permit to work system in a workplace.
A permit to work is vital to make your job safe. Ignoring it can be extremely dangerous and can lead to death and serious injury. This is the BP Cupiagua field in Colombia in South America. Pablo Guerrero, Linares Moreno, and Oscar Gomez were helping to build a roadway to a new flow line connecting the well pad to the Cupiagua Central Processing Facility. High voltage cables passed over the track at a height of about 8 meters. And the three of them had been asked to erect a goalpost sign over the road in front of the cables to warn construction traffic of the danger. Their permit had been signed by the engineer, but he hadn't visited the site. Instead, the engineer relied on the advice of a supervisor who assessed all risks as low. The supervisor left before the job started, handing over to Pablo. But there was a disagreement between them about where the sign should be positioned. In the end, Pablo insisted it was placed half a meter in front of the cables. It was a fatal decision. Linares fetched the first 10-meter-long upright, while Oscar and Pablo dug a hole about a meter deep to put it in.
Dale con más fuerza.
It had touched the high-voltage cable and he was unable to move until Oscar ran at him and pushed him away, freeing his grip on the pole. Pablo fell to the ground. He died from the electric shock. Permits can only provide safety if they're completed correctly, based on a good local assessment of the risks and agreement on the measures needed to control them. The Golden Rule says you must have a permit to work whenever abnormal or high-risk work is to be carried out, or where specific circumstances require protection above that which normal working conditions provide. And specifically, a permit must exist before you start work which involves confined space entry, or working on energy systems. You must have a permit before starting work involving ground disturbance where buried hazards may exist, and hot work in potentially explosive environments. The permit must define the scope of the work. It must identify hazards and assess risk. And it must establish control measures to eliminate or mitigate those hazards. The permit must link the work to other associated work permits or simultaneous operations. It must be authorized by the responsible person. And then everyone involved in the work must have the contents of the permit communicated to them. When the job is over, the permit must ensure adequate control over the return to normal operations. The permit provides written confirmation that a risk assessment of the specific conditions affecting the work has been carried out, and that appropriate control measures to protect personnel and equipment from each of the hazards have been provided. permit is a formal agreement between you and the permit authority or responsible person that the risks and the controls to mitigate those risks are understood and will be fully implemented. Sign the permit only when you're happy that you understand all the requirements. The permit to work system at Cupiagua was revised and strengthened, and training was carried out to make sure it was fully understood. Managers have been encouraged to review the system in operation during their regular ASA tours. The Golden Rule helps everyone to understand how important the controls specified in a permit are for their own safety. Don't start work if you don't understand them, or if you think that the job is still unsafe. If it's unsafe, stop work.